Chagiga, Perek Beis, Chapter 2, Mishnah Mishnah 4. Atzeres. When the Mishnah says Atzeres, that is the word that is used for Shavuos. So Shavuos, Shachal Yais Berev Shabbos. If Shavuos fell out on Friday. Now, don't forget, as we've been learning, Shavuos is one of the Shalosh Regalim, one of the 3 times you have to come to the Beis HaMikdash, and each person has to bring their Shlamim offering, their Chagiga Shlamim offering, and their Oilas Re'iyah, and their burnt offering, the one that is burned completely on the Mizbeach. Those are the 2 karbanos that every individual has to bring. So now, Shavuos fell out on Erev Shabbos. That means Yontiv is Erev Shabbos. Beis Shammai say, Yom Tevayach, the day of slaughter, meaning the day of slaughtering and offering the Oilas Re'iyah, the burnt offering, Achara Shabbos, has to be on Sunday, on the day after Shabbos. We learned yesterday, according to Beis Shammai, according to the Academy of Shammai, that you cannot bring the Ola offering, the Olas Re'iyah, the obligatory Ola offering that everybody has to bring, cannot be brought on Yontif. It's the only carbon that you can bring on Yontif is a carbon that you can partake from, like the Shlamim. But the Ola offering that you don't partake from, you may not bring it on Yontif. You have to bring it after Yontif. And so therefore, if let's say Shavuos falls out on Friday, so you can't bring the Ola offering on Friday because it's Yontif. The next day is Shabbos. Can't bring it that day either. So the first day you could bring it is going to be on Sunday, the day after Shabbos. Because we know that after Shavuos, even though Shavuos is only 1 day of Yontif, you still have 6 days afterwards to bring those sacrifices that each person has to bring. So that's Beis Shammai's opinion. And Beis Hillel say, Shabbos. There's no need for the day of slaughtering. There's no need for bringing the Ola offering after Shabbos, because according to Beis Hillel, you may bring, not only do you bring the Shlamim, the Chagiga sacrifice on Yontif, you could bring the Ola carbon on Yontif too. That was yesterday's Mishnah. So therefore, if it comes out that Friday, Shavuos comes out on Friday, then that day itself is a day that you could bring in the Eilas Riyah, you could bring the Ola offering. Umaydim, but Beis Hillel agree, Shemachal Yais b'Shabbos, that if let's say Shavuos fell out on Shabbos, Shem Tevayach Achara Shabbos, that then the day that you're going to bring not only the Ola offering, but any offering, is going to be after Shabbos. Because on Shabbos itself, an individual may not bring a carbon. An individual's carbon cannot be brought on Shabbos, even if it's an obligatory individual sacrifice, like the Ola and the Shla and the Chagiga that you got to bring on Yontif. Can't bring it on Shabbos. And therefore, if Shavuos falls out on Shabbos, the first day you'll have to be able to bring any of the sacrifices will be the day after Shabbos on Sunday. Now, it's also important to know that all these situations, again, if you can't bring it on the first day, you've got a number of days to make it up. And even and if we say that if Yontif itself is Shabbos, you can't bring it. Certainly, if Shabbos becomes one of those couple of days that you have afterwards, it's not going to help you either. Can't do it on that day either. Okay, now. So everybody agrees that if Shavuos falls out on Shabbos, no sacrifices will be brought until Sunday. Now, the communal sacrifices are brought on Shabbos. The Torah says you bring it on that day. When the Torah says you bring a communal sacrifice specifically on that day, then that's what you do. So the communal sacrifice aren't an issue bringing on Shabbos or on Yontif. It's the individual ones. And as we said, individual sacrifices that you voluntarily vowed to bring, and you're bringing them because you're ready for Yontif at the Beis HaMikdash, that for sure you can't bring on Yontif or on Shabbos. The question is, the individual sacrifices that you're obligated to bring for Yontif, like the Chagiga and the Ola, and the Olas Riyah, that's where you have the Machlekes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel. Okay, but if it's Shabbos, if Shavuos is on Shabbos, no karbanos until the day after. Now, continuing from that scenario, the Ein Kohen Gadol Mislabesh B'Kelev, the Kohen Gadol does not wear his clothing. It means the Kohen Gadol, who's a very public figure, does not wear his special Yontif clothing. Umutarin Basma V'Tainis. And that day is permitted for eulogy and fasting. Meaning, this day, this Sunday after Shavuos, that everybody's bringing their karbanos. which typically should be considered a mini holiday, especially if it's your day to bring the sacrifices. That's considered for your certain holiday. And that would be a day that Kohen Gadol, who's bringing his sacrifices, would have been wearing his Yantiv clothing. It would have been that people in general cannot fast or cannot hold a eulogy that day because it's a Yantif. It's like a holiday. It may not be a full-fledged Yantif, but it's enough of a Yantif. If it's the time that people are bringing their sacrifices, then it's really enough of a holiday to say that no eulogies are fasting. Nonetheless, if we had a situation where Sunday was the day after Shabbos, and that was everybody's bringing their karbanis, the Kohen Gadol wore his regular weekday clothing. Now, if the Kohen Gadol is going into the base mixture, the service, of course he wears his special Kohen Gadol garments. But if it would have been Yontif, the Kohen Gadol would have had a special Yontif clothing, maybe like everybody else. But I think the point we're focusing on the Kohen Gadol is because he's a public figure. He will not wear his Yontif clothing. Everybody will treat this day not like a mini holiday to say that it's forbidden to fast or to hold eulogies. They'll treat it like a weekday. Why? So not to show support for those who say that every Shavuos falls out the day after Shabbos. Now, there were a group of people called the Tzedukim, the Sadducees, who did not believe in the Torah Shabbat, the oral law. Now, when it comes to Shavuos, the Torah tells us like this. The Torah tells us, "Usvartim lachem imacharas haShabbos." Between Pesach and Shavuos, we have Svira, right? We have counting of the days. And you begin counting Pesach time. 50 days later is going to be Shavuos. Now, the Torah says, "Usvartim lachem imacharas haShabbos." You shall count for yourselves the day after the Shabbos. You count 49 days, 7 weeks. Mimachras haShabbos haShvius, until the day after the 7th Shabbos, you will count. So the Torah tells us to start counting the day after Shabbos, and the day after the 7th Shabbos is going to be Shavuos. What does that word Shabbos mean? So, does it say Shabbos? Is it Shabbos? Is it Yontif? What day is it? So, our tradition, the Torah Shabbat, the oral law says that word Shabbos there doesn't mean Shabbos. It means the first day of Yontif. The first day of Yontif is also like Shabbos, right? There are a lot of things that you can't do on Shabbos, you can't do on Yontif either. So Yontif is also called Shabbos, the day of rest. So when the Torah says you count from the day after Shabbos, means the day after the first day of Yontif, which is the second day of Pesach. Then, the 50th day starting after that count is Shavuos. So what day will Shavuos fall out on? Whatever day of the week is the 50th. But the Tzedukim said that when the Torah says count the day after the Shabbos, it means Shabbos. That means you don't start counting your 50 days until Sunday. The first Sunday after Pesach, that's when you start counting. Well, if the first day you start counting is always Sunday, then Shavuos, the 50 days later, will always fall out on Sunday. So that's what they said. Shavuos is always on a Sunday. Okay, so in a situation where Shavuos was Shabbos and the day after was Sunday, if you're going to treat it like a holiday, even in a minor way, that may give the impression like, it's like the Tzedukim say, today's Yontif. That's why you're wearing Yontif clothing. That's why you're not eulogizing, you're not fasting. So therefore, even though that's what should have been, because it was a mini holiday, because that's the people were bringing their sacrifice they couldn't bring on Yontif itself, especially when Shavuos fell out on Shabbos. So everybody's bringing it the day after. The Chachamim said you have to treat it like a regular day. So a public figure like the Kohen Gadol wears his weekday clothing, not his Yontif clothing. People can fast, people can eulogize, treat it like a regular weekday, so as to show that this day is not Yontif. Unlike the Sadducees, unlike the Tzedukim, today is not Yontif, and that's what was being stressed. Okay. Now we have the Chofetz Chaim. This is the beginning of Kal Gimel, chapter 3. Kama gadol is lashon hara. How great is the prohibition of speaking lashon hara? Sha'asarato ha'Torah afilu al emes u'b'chol gavni. The Torah forbids you to say lashon hara even if it's true. V'lo mebayim hu shomer es asmer l'sapar alav b'seiser u'makbid al zeh she'izchal loy da'aser. Now, loy mibaya, that means it's elementary. It's simple. That if you, let's say, when you speak lashon hara about a certain person, it's always behind his back, and you want to make sure that he doesn't find out what you've said about him. That actually makes things even worse. Shal yedei mekabel al atzmai gam kein orer. For that, a person actually accepts upon himself or brings upon himself a curse from the Torah. Kama dechsiv, as the Torah says, orer makare eo basaser. Cursed be the person who smites his friend, who hits his friend secretly. How do you hit your friend secretly? The answer is you talk behind his back. So if it comes out that you go to head, if you went to head and you spoke behind his back and you make sure that he doesn't know about it, that means, but that's called makre b'saisa. That's called beating your friend in secret. You get a curse for that. Alafilim hu mishayra ba'atzmai. But even if a person, let's say, says, "Shaya omer davar zeh apafanav," I'm not embarrassed. I would say it in front of his face. Or you actually speak bad about a person in front of him. You put him down in front of his face. It's pretty simple, but he wants to bring out that's also forbidden. It's called lashon hara. The fact that you're not doing it behind his back. The fact that you're not doing it behind his back. All right, there's something somewhat more positive to that, but at the end of the day, just the fact that you're ready to do it in front of his face, or actually did it in front of his face, doesn't mitigate it. And then on the other hand, when you actually say it in front of him, it's even worse, because when you say it in front of him, then you're not only speaking lashon hara, you're being very brazen. You're being chutzpahdik. You're going ahead in front of his face. You're going ahead and speaking lashon hara. You're putting him down in front of his face. That's very brazen. Not only is it brazen, it can actually embarrass him. And therefore, from that point, speak it even though you're not backstabbing him and you're ready to say it in front of his face, or you did say it in front of his face. That actually not only is that lashon hara, it could be even worse because you're acting brazenly, which is a very bad trait, and you could be embarrassing him. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.